In this video, we will be talking about authorization group settings. It is under user customization, user setup, and authorization group settings. An authorization group is used so that when multiple people have the same authorizations, then you can make it into a group so that it simplifies the authorization process. So here is how you do it. Head on over to user customization, user setup, and authorization group settings. Here, by pressing New, you can make an authorization group. Set up an authorization code and authorization name. Namely, you would want to use something like a department so that each department member can share the same authorization. So, something like a marketing team. Once the authorization group has been made, we will do authorization for each one. First is task authorization. By clicking Setup, you can determine the marketing team's authorization. If the marketing team can only view sales, then make sure to have sales. And if other menus are not authorized, then make sure to set it to no authorization. Furthermore, if you would like to have an exception for action and menu, head on over to each as well. Simply, if you press Setup for exception action, you can modify whether to have that specific authorization group to be able to enter a new sales slip or modify or delete. If you don't want them, then have it under no authorization. Similarly, the exception menu is used so that not all the sales menu can be used. So by leaving it to have authorization, those menus can be viewed. However, if you don't want, say, sales list to be viewed, make sure to put it at no authorization. Make sure to apply it and save it. The second part is template authorization. In ECOUNT, you can make multiple templates, but each member should not have to see those templates respectively. For instance, if you go to sales and by clicking at the sales list, if the marketing team should not be looking at the mobile sales list, make sure to put it to do not allow. And any other templates that they can see, set it to allow. The next one is confirmation authorization. Let me divide it into two, the confirmer and the confirmation process. So whoever has a confirmation process to applied means that whoever makes the sales slip, for example, will not be affected in the inventory balance. Meaning that if the marketing team member whose authorization group has been set as marketing, whenever he or she enters a sales slip that has been set to apply, the inventory balance will not be reduced. When set to do not apply, it will automatically be reducing the inventory balance. So, if the confirmation process has been set to apply, the confirmer has to switch the process. So, if you need to give the confirmer that authorization, make sure to have confirmation authorization. Basically, the ones that are applied will have their sales slips be saved to unconfirmed, to which the confirmer must select that slip and change the status to confirm. Now, as for the default, this follows the settings at user customization, configuration, function setup, and accounting and inventory. So this is the confirmation function. It applies here. Going back to the authorization group settings, let us look at the next one. Allow authorization. By clicking Allow authorization, you can set up so that the authorization group can only view certain items, customers, locations, departments, and etc. You can do so by setting it to accessible group. So when you click Setup, you can make a subgroup, like a level group here. So the selected level group is the one that the authorization group has access to. Next is the other authorization. So authorization coverage is when you press setup, you can limit the slip view range, modification range, and delete range based on created by department or writer, or even last modified by department or modifier. The next one is menu. By selecting it to enable menu setup, the authorization group can only view the menus that are left here. So if you only want to allow the sales menu for the authorization group to see, then simply move it to the left like this. Then only the sales menu will be seen. As for the ECOUNT ERP app and ECOUNT Excel uploader, if you do not want the authorization group to use it, make sure to leave it to not in use. And furthermore, if you want the price amount modification to be allowed or do not allowed, select the following from allow or do not allow. And when you're done, click save. Now once the authorization group settings have been finished, simply go to the register user page and select the ID. At the authorization tab, click on the default authorization group that we have made. Now this notification will pop up. By pressing confirm, authorizations set outside of the default authorizations won't change. However, when you press cancel, the authorizations that were set individually will also change to that. And as such, you can always go to individual setup and make an exception as well.